I kind of was in this place where I felt really stuck in life. My anxiety was pretty intense. I think that might be a good word to use. It's something I'd really struggled with like through college and into my adult life. Honestly, I kind of had sort of felt like it had become almost a part of my personality that was just always going to be there. Like I just thought, I'm an anxious person and I'm just going to struggle with anxiety for the rest of my life. Like I'm at the point where I don't feel like anxiety has to be part of my personality. The biggest thing that you've helped me with is one, I think overcoming some things that have held me back that I didn't really realize. I'm a completely different, more confident person today. Really, I feel very hopeful for like my future and my life. Like I feel like you've brought me to a place where I have an idea of like what I want to do that brings me joy in life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hero Process podcast with me, your host, Adam Tallamy. And I have the great pleasure today of being here with Mackenzie, who has come all the way from Oregon, not just to see me, but she's in London. And Mackenzie and I have known each other for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I have coached Mackenzie for probably in total about 5 months of those 2 years. We've watched her grow and change and flourish. It's quite a nice journey that she's been on. I'd say from my perspective, she's a very different lady to the person I met 2 years ago in a really good way. And Mackenzie's going to share with us about her coaching journey today, how she's changed, what's happened for her and what the journey's been like. And I think you're going to find it very interesting. Okay, welcome, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, you're here on a flying visit, Thanksgiving weekend 2025.
Yes.
In London and Winchester, I believe.
Yeah, we did. It's been great so far. It's my first time to England. So yeah, I've loved it so far. Yeah.
Now, Mackenzie is the sister of one of my other clients, right? Kendall. Yeah. And she's the first one I've met of the family.
Yeah.
In face-to-face, but like all my clients who are all around the world, I know them all so well. So it's really weird to meet them face-to-face.
Yeah.
We've just been for a nice lunch and I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today.
Yeah, me too.
So perhaps you could set the scene for those watching. Where were you 2 years ago? What was happening in your life? What made you even think, actually, I need to do some coaching?
Yeah.
And then we'll get into kind of the journey after that.
So 2 years ago, so around like COVID timeframe, 2021, 2020, I went through kind of a large career change where I had to go back to school and learn the skill that I was like excited about. I think I was more excited about doing this career change because I could make more money from doing this career. However, then I kind of, I'd gotten this new job and I was very, I was excited about it at first, but then I kind of was going through this. My company had gone through a reorganization. I was doing something a little bit different. And I kind of was in this place where I felt really stuck in life. It was hard for me to like get excited to go to work every day. I was feeling really like burned out and kind of stressed and just sort of like, is this what my life is going to be like? What else can I do or what else is out there? And I think, so Jesse, my husband, actually, I think he had met with you once or twice before, I'm not sure. And he'd worked with my sister and I didn't really know really what life coaching was. Like I had done like therapy before in the past, which I would call life coaching something very different than therapy. I feel like I've gotten way more out of it than therapy.
Okay, wow.
I would say that my husband, because I was like, I talked to my husband, Jesse, I was like, I'm at this point where I think I want to, quit my job. But I was like, that's very scary to me because I've always been a person who's very like type A.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, just meet with Adam just once. He's like, your sister works with this person, Adam. And he's like, I've talked to him once or twice, I can't remember, but he's like, before you do anything like drastic, like maybe, because when I talked to my sister about this, not necessarily about life coaching, but she's like, Mackenzie, it's like your perspective. You need to switch your perspective, or it's about you. It's not about the job. Like the job necessarily isn't making you unhappy. And that was really hard for me to like wrap my head around, I think.
It's so much easier to blame something else, the company, the boss, the economy.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
And so, Jesse was like, well, just like make me, meet with Adam and just kind of see what you feel like you could get out of it, or if you like how you feel. And I did. And I think the first time that we met, I was like, wow, I feel like I felt really positive and kind of hopeful. I think about, I don't know, reframing. I think one, like reframing my perspective about my job and my situation, but also of like trying to hope and see, like maybe find my life purpose or find something that would make me really, really happy. Yeah,
bring the zest back.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people say
definitely.
when they find that purpose.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I actually remember this so vividly.
Yeah.
Because I remember Jessie going, I really think she gets so much from working with you. I just don't know if she's going to.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
Because we've been on quite the journey, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, because like I said before, like I'd done like therapy in the past, but I felt like I never had gotten much out of it. And so maybe that's why I was skeptical at first.
Yeah.
But it's so different. And I feel like I've gotten so much more out of it. So, I don't know how else to put it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think a lot of people have done some form of therapy, right? So how would you describe, and however you feel to, the differences between what I do, which, there are also different types of life coaching as
Very
well,
true,
right?
yeah.
But what would you say are the differences? How did it affect you differently?
I would say that like working with you, especially around like, because you focus a lot around like helping people find their life purpose or like what makes them happy, but then also clearing blocks that you've had in your past, like that have happened to you in the past or things that have happened to you in your life. And even maybe things that had happened to you in a past life, which is very because I'd never
past lives. Okay.
Or things
we did some past life work, right? Which doesn't always come up, but it's great when it does.
And kind of working on those types of things, which I think in like traditional therapy, I think traditional therapy, I feel like it's possibly like more kind of like getting you to a place where, like you're like happy today, or what are some tools you can work through, which I feel like with working with you, it's like kind of getting over things that are maybe holding you back. That you probably didn't even realize were holding you back. And I think also then looking at kind of thinking about the future and like what is possible, and like working with like manifestation. I mean, that's obviously something that is never really brought up in traditional therapy.
No, not past lives neither.
So I would say those are a big difference. It's just like working through things that are holding you back from maybe getting what you really want in life.
Whatever they are.
That you probably didn't even know, and working through that. And then also thinking about, what's possible. Future.
It is crazy, isn't it? Some of the things that come up, like there are things that are obvious, like, I'm struggling at work. Should I leave? Is that the thing? Of course, we all know about that, right? But the things that surprise people are the thing that happened to them when they were 6 years old. It doesn't need to be something horrific, right? It could just be, I don't know, the toy got taken away, and they, for whatever reason, that really deeply affected them and made them feel like they couldn't have something that they want now, it can be that, right? So yes, okay. Interesting take on the differences, and I think most of my clients probably would agree with that. So that was the starting point. Okay. So a bit stuck, not too happy with work, wondering whether there's something more for you in life, which I think a lot of us feel, right?
Probably.
I think it's pretty much endemic in the human race at the moment. What where have we got you to now? That
Yeah.
would be the interesting thing based on that initial challenge.
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing that you've helped me with is, one, I think overcoming some things that have held me back that I didn't really realize. Like we've touched on a bit. I did collegiate cheerleading, which was, I think, honestly, in my life, I'd spent a lot of time because it's something that's really cool or whatever. But I feel like a lot of things I'd went through doing that were maybe pretty traumatic that were really holding me back in my adult life that I hadn't really thought about or put that into perspective.
You boxed it away for like 20 years, right?
Yeah. And so kind of really deep diving into that and understanding how that experience of doing that in like college, high school, is maybe still affecting me today, and how I can be a more confident person, and how that was maybe holding back like my self-esteem and my confidence. So I feel like I'm a completely different, more confident person today because of that.
You are.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
No, you are. You really are, for sure.
Yeah. And
we'll get onto this, but you've really branched out, and you're doing like videos and social media, and like compared to where you were, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's good.
Really good.
And then I think also, really, I feel very hopeful for like my future and my life. Like, I feel like you've brought me to a place where I have an idea of like what I want to do that brings me joy in life. And I'm not really quite to the point where I have like left my job, but I feel like my whole perspective on my job is completely reframed. And it's not like where I feel not excited to go there every day. It's more like, I see it more as like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And so that feels really positive. And I think also just really understanding manifestation. And I feel like I just know that I'm going to have everything I want in life. Like, it's very crazy. I feel like someone has told me like for certain, which is wild, that like, if I want to have this in my life, I can have it. Yeah. Because I think something that really reframed me is, I think you had me do an exercise where you were like, okay, write down, 10 things that you like want in your life as if you already have them, like build like kind of your dream life. And I did that. And I was thinking, if someone would have had me do this exercise 10 years ago, I think I would have written my life exactly how it is today. Like everything I would have written down 10 years ago would have been everything that I have today. Wow. And so I think, one, like looking back on that really reframed me of like, wow, like the life I have, I manifested, honestly.
Yeah, you did.
And
so it helped you realize that you actually have always been a powerful manifestor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Which actually is half the battle when it comes to manifestation, is realizing you're already a manifestor. Most people just push it away and, that would have happened anyway. Oh, yeah, but I've worked towards that. Whatever, you manifested it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, so the manifestation piece, I have to say that in my mind, you have won the lottery.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. No, I don't mean that in terms of working with me.
Yeah.
Clearly you have in that area as well. No, what I mean is there are 3 of my clients. I don't know if I've told you this.
I don't think so.
There are 3 of my clients. There's you. There's one of my clients, Kartik. And there's another client whose name I won't mention at the moment. But the 3 of you, in my mind, you all have won the lottery.
Wow. Yeah.
And I like you, how you talk about it, that you've always kind of known that you were going to have everything. I find when people say things like that, then it's usually going to happen. It's usually going to come true, because it's almost like a seed is planted in your mind from an early age. You can't, like from a spiritual perspective, we know what the plan is, right? When we come in, when we're born, we come in, it's all pre-agreed. You come in, you're going to have this father, this mother. This is how life's going to unfold. And by the way, you're going to have everything that you could ever possibly want. And then that, in my experience, always happens.
Yeah.
So there's you, and there's 2 of my other clients who always are also talking about the lottery.
Yeah.
And I'm going to connect the three of you up actually, because when this happens, I'm glad we're recording this now.
Yeah.
Let's say the date. It's what is it? November. No, December the 1st.
December 1st. Yeah.
December 1st, 2025.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay. These three guys are going to win the lottery.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny, isn't it? And I've been visualizing that as well. So
yeah, that's very funny. Yeah, I feel like because the thing is, I never like how I feel, where I was like, oh yes, like I'm gonna have everything I want in my life. I really haven't thought that until like I started working with you, and you've kind of showed me like, hey, like really, because like the life I have today, like if I would have, let's just say 10 years ago, when I was in my, early mid 20s, like if I would have said, oh yeah, like you have this job and you're married and you own a house and like all this stuff, I would have been like blown. I would have been like, what? Like what? All of this? Like what? Which sounds like pretty normal to a lot of people, but I feel like I was like, oh my gosh, this is such like a crazy good life. Like I can't, and some of the experiences that I have had in life or the things that I get to do, I would have been like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I get to do this, know? And so, so when you really think about like manifesting, like I feel like a lot of people really are, and they don't maybe realize it, or
they push it away.
Yeah.
They push it away. It's too scary for most people. You either don't understand it, so it's just like, oh, it just happened.
Yeah.
Or you push it away because deep down people are really afraid of their own power. Once you start to realize you can create whatever you want, it brings up resistance. Like, I've had to work through so many layers of it, of like, well, if I can do that, then where does the line stop? Can I do this?
Yeah.
It's like, but if I can do that, that feels a bit threatening somehow. It's strange that those emotions come up. Okay. All right. Winning the lottery. Do you feel like you're going to do that?
I mean, it's funny. I say that to people all the time,
which
I never used to. But when I realized like that, when I say things like that, they've come true. Like here's kind of a funny story that I didn't really realize until I started working with you. So when I was 18, my parents were like, oh, let's go out to dinner for your birthday. Like, where do you want to go? And there's this cute neighborhood in Portland, Oregon, where I live. And it's just like a cute kind of urban neighborhood. And I was like, I picked this restaurant. I was like, I want to go here. It's like cute neighborhood. And we were sitting at dinner at this table. And I said, I was like, I'm going to live here someday. And the crazy thing is I ended up living there, but I ended up like in that neighborhood, but I ended up living in the apartment right above the restaurant, right above the table that we were sitting.
No way.
Which my mom kind of reminded me of it later, but I was like, oh my gosh, that actually happened. It was like the first apartment that Jesse and I moved into after we had started dating. We moved in together. It was in that neighborhood right there. And it was really crazy how we found this apartment, because it was like a condo, someone owned it, and they were kind of one-off renting it out. Like it was a very weird way that we ended up living there. And when I like realized that, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, and so, I will win the lottery one day.
So why not?
Why not? Like there's certain things that I've said, I'm like, and like when I was 18, obviously I had never even heard of manifestation before, just saying things, but I've always been kind of a proponent of like, if you want something, just like say it, because before I knew about like manifestation or things like that, I was like, well, if no one knows, like how is, if you keep it in your head, like how's it going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. So you didn't know anything about manifestation then, but did you sort of always believed that you could create these things, or not, or it just wasn't in your mind?
Honestly, like at that age, like no, not really. I don't think, I didn't even hear the word manifestation until I was probably in my late 20s, like from my sister. And she was like, yeah, like, like I think how she'd explained it was, she's like, I was thinking about this one friend I hadn't heard from in a long time, and I was thinking about her and that I wanted to hear from her. And then she like called me up, and I was like, that's wild. Like, that's a coincidence. What are you talking about? Like, I had no idea that it was really a thing. So honestly, when I was doing those things, I'd never like thought like, oh, this is like going to I don't know. I just, like looking back on it, I'm like, maybe I was, because I was like saying I'm going to have these things, but like, oh, I'm going to live here, or like I'm going to like work at the place I work, or things like that. But Yeah.
You see, some people are just natural manifestors. But I still find even with them, there's an awakening, a remembrance almost to how they do it. They've got to relearn the process. They've got to come kind of back into themselves and get to a place where they feel good enough, safe enough, that it would be okay for them to have the things that they say they want. Because if they're not okay on some level, fearful or what have you, they're not going to let it in. So even the most natural ones still need to get the process right and to do some of the internal work, because there's always everyone has a glass ceiling, right? And as you know, we've smashed through yours quite a few times. It's like the ceiling is how good can you let things be?
Yeah.
How big a success can you be with the work that you're doing, right? It's like, okay, so let's work through whatever's the next block.
Yeah.
And that opens the horizons up. And then before you know it, instead of, I don't know, earning $10,000, you can be earning $10 million, right?
Yeah.
That's the principle.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I've really gotten from like working with you is like being able to like dream bigger, or like think of like what's possible. Because I think before, like I'd really like some of the internal work I think we've done is like really struggling with like, oh, well, that's like too big, or that would never happen to me, or like, you know, because like I'm talking about, you know, living in an apartment, which some people that might be big, some people, you know, it's like, I don't know, more normal, I don't know, but like doing really the internal work for myself of like being able to feel comfortable even thinking that those things could happen to me, you know?
A lot of people can't let themselves go there, right? We live in a small, narrow world, and the horizon broadening can be quite a thing, can be quite a challenge. And also, people don't feel safe enough to dream big. It's almost like, well, but, you know, that probably wouldn't happen for me, so I don't want to kind of face rejection or failure.
Yeah.
So they won't even go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Good. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So let's just talk about your journey from anxiety, I think is fair to say, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Through to actually feeling so much more confident, having the strength and courage to put yourself out there in the world, doing lots of videos on social media, which is quite amazing. It's quite a jump.
Yeah.
How would you describe the anxiety that you were feeling before we started coaching? Give us a barometer of where you were at that stage.
Yeah, I would say my anxiety was pretty intense. I think that might be a good word to use. It's something I'd really struggled with like through college and into my adult life. And honestly, I mean, I think I'd said before I'd like gone to therapy and stuff like that. But I feel like in traditional therapy, they kind of teach you maybe like skills to like help you when you're in those moments, but not necessarily like getting to the root of like what is causing it. I mean, I think you maybe think like, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, what's causing it is, you know, I have this big thing coming up at work, or I have to do, you know, they're like this, but like what's like really like
what's
taking
really
like that
it?
second step down, I guess.
Yeah. People don't realize, do they? You've always got the surface level, I've got this big speech to do, right?
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's like, but why is that affecting you in the way when someone else will get up and they'll just be fine? It's interesting, right?
Yeah. So I think, I was definitely, but honestly, I kind of had sort of felt like it had become almost a part of my personality that was just always going to be there. Like, I just thought, you know, I'm an anxious person, and I'm just going to struggle with anxiety for the rest of my life. Like, that's just how I just kind of almost come to accept it in that way.
Yeah.
And I'd also really struggled with like social anxiety, like being, like, I think we'd talk about the place that I work is a very social place, and they do a lot of like happy hours or like things like that. And like, I would just like, I hated it. Like the things that most people think was fun, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like such a chore.
Sounds like hell.
But I think that really tied down to kind of, I wasn't, you know, very confident in myself. And I think that's things that we'd sort of worked on of like, you know, maybe like, well, why is that? Or like, what have you gone through in the past that have maybe like kind of taught your brain to think that way?
Yes.
And so I think honestly, like I'm at the point where I don't feel like anxiety has to be part of my personality, or that I don't feel like I struggle with. I mean, everyone feels anxiety at times. I think like
Yeah.
if you have a big speech you have to give at work, like, you know, you're going to feel nervous probably.
Yeah.
But
and that's useful, right?
Yeah.
We need that like low level anxiety,
Yeah.
stress to just to motivate us to do the actual speech in the first place. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And not just like the deep, like underlying, you know, feeling. Like I think one thing that I had written down, like when we first started working together, of just like things that I wanted in my life, and I'd written down, I don't remember the exact words, but I wanted more friends in my life.
Yes.
Like where I live in Portland, I feel like we had kind of like, you know, I have like my great friends from college, but we're kind of in different stages in life. And, you know, I wanted like friends that were kind of going through the same stages in life as I was.
Yeah.
And I was finding that really difficult. I think mainly because I struggled with confidence and anxiety.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like since we started working together, me and Jesse were actually really like reflecting back on this. We're like, we have such a great group of friends in the city that we live. Like, I feel like I've always, you know, I have my sister and some of our other friends that you know, that have worked with you, but they live in, you know, a different state and things like that. But, and I feel like it's really given me the confidence to be able to like meet people, which is honestly life-changing. And so, yeah, I think just that kind of journey has been really, really helpful for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's so honestly humbling for me to hear you say this, that it's helped you in that way.
Yeah.
How lovely.
Yeah, it really has been.
How lovely.
Yeah.
Because you actually set your intention, I remember, to connect with more friends. And I seem to remember that like within about 2 or 3 weeks, suddenly you'd met loads of new friends. It was like, you are a crazy man, like amazing manifestor.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Yeah. It's kind of like, I think it was funny because I said I was like, I'm so tired of like on the weekends, just like, it's like me and Jesse or like some other people that were kind of in different stages of life than us, or I was, you know, I want them. And then it was crazy because then literally I said that. Then literally that weekend, our friends Christy and Brian, who they don't live in Oregon, but they were like, oh, we're coming to Oregon. Like, we want to see you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, did I just like, oh, we have like plans this weekend. And then honestly, after that, things sort of snowballed. Like, then we met, I mean, not from them, but like then, you know, we had some other friends that we kind of like reached out to, and we had one person and he kind of introduced us to some other people. And then it really just kind of, you know, and I think when you meet people that you sort of click with, or
they've probably got other friends that you like.
Yeah, and you kind of meet people, and it's just putting in the intent and like putting in time with people and really getting to know them, and then being able to feel comfortable. And then then I stopped feeling anxiety about, you know, seeing people. I think, I don't know, in Mel Robbins' Let Them book, she talks about friendships too. And it's said something about like it takes so many hours with someone to become a close friend. I don't remember the amount of hours, but I was thinking about that. Like, it's like, well, if you are so anxious that you always want to cancel plans with people, then how are you going to really feel comfortable to be where like you look forward to it instead of dreading it? Because I was at the point where I dreaded like
was that you before?
That was me before.
You were canceling the plans.
Yeah. But now then it's the point where like, oh, you are excited and look forward to it because, you know, you've like done the work and have
Wow. It's actually a powerful example of manifestation, if I can call it that. So you set your intention. And this is the bit of manifestation most people don't understand, is you have to sometimes clear the internal blocks. Now, your internal blocks were you actually didn't really like socializing, and it brought up too much emotion in you, so you would often cancel. So to make new friends, even if you're the best visualizer in the world, if you've got that level of fear and resistance going on, you're probably not going to create that reality, right?
You have to put in the work, like, and be able to kind of clear those blocks of why am I feeling this way, and be able to like work through that. And then also do the work on myself of like working on my confidence, my self-esteem of like, why would someone even want to be my friend? You know, like feeling worthy of like that. So it's definitely like twofold, but it's kind of like going out of your comfort zone, or like getting those kind of like the intuition of like, hey, like someone invited me here. Like, I really feel like I should do this, you know, or they're introducing me to these people. Like, sometimes when you're in a group setting, someone will enter like, hi, my name is so-and-so. And you're like, oh, great, cool. And like move on. Be like, oh, like I should ask them some questions about their self or like get to know them. Like, like think that I might actually see this person again, or instead of just thinking like, oh, like I'm meeting you tonight, but I probably won't see you.
Let's
like,
get out of this as quickly as we can.
Like genuinely, So that's like out of, your comfort zone, or out of my comfort zone it was, so to like ask people questions and be interested, So just, really setting your intention of what, you want to happen.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So good. So it's the internal work, setting the intention, then clearing the blocks, and then staying focused on what the thing that you want. And then it came in. And before you knew it, within weeks, you'd suddenly got 2 or 3 new sets of friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Because I was like, I'd always thought like for the past like couple of years in Portland, I was like, where are all the people hiding that like are my age, that like don't have kids yet, that work, that live close to the area of town I live? I was like, I know they're there. Like, where are they hiding? Like, how come I can't meet them?
Yeah.
And then, I ended up meeting a group of, because you meet someone, they introduce you to someone else. And I think, it's like, it's just setting your intention of, instead of like sitting in your house, like being like, oh, woe is me, or being anxious about it, like really setting the intention, like I want this to happen to me. I want to meet these people, and then being open to it. I think half the battle is people think they're open to it, but they're really not.
But they're really not.
That's what I thought. I was like, I'm approachable. Like I'm open to it.
I want to meet people.
But I really wasn't. Like I had to,
And you imagine how many millions of people are sitting at home, not even daring to take the first step of even speaking to someone.
Yeah.
Right? And they probably, like we all do, we trick ourselves, think, well, I'm okay. I do want that. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. But they have because they don't understand what can be underlying that, and they don't have the tools to do it. Yeah. They're just going to stay stuck in that situation.
Yeah.
You hear about these people who, just live by themselves for all of their adult lives, especially in older age, lonely. It's really sad. I think there's a pandemic of that, really. Yeah.
I was definitely one of those people. I was like, well, I'm just not, I know all the people that I know or something. Yeah. I was like, I'm open to it. It's just not happening to me. But I honestly, looking back on it, I wasn't open to it because it was out of my comfort zone, and I wasn't willing to take that step.
Yeah. It's great that you can now speak about it so clearly and honestly and upfront and recognize it like that. Yeah. There's a childhood friend of mine who always says, well, I met all my friends at like primary school, and he still hangs out with them. Yeah. And he's like, why do I need to meet more people? Now, underlying that almost certainly is going to be some fear about rejection, not being good enough to do whatever it is. But, I can't have that conversation, and he probably didn't want to hear it anyway. Yeah. So maybe he'll watch this. And wow, that's really great. Thank you for that. That's a really, really great example. Yeah. So let's talk about your day job. How you were feeling? Before we started coaching, you were feeling stuck. You were feeling like you wanted to leave there. Why was that, do you think? First of all, why do you feel stuck, and why would you have wanted to leave?
I think I just sort of, honestly, at that point, I didn't know. Like I would like sometimes I'd be like drive to work in the morning, and I would just like cry. And I was like, why am I so upset?
You were crying on the way to work.
Yeah. Like
regularly.
Yeah. And I started to really resent my husband because he changed jobs. He now like works for himself. And so he had kind of the flexibility where he'd be like, oh, I'm going to go take our dog for, walk in the morning and things like that to do, kind of. And I felt really resentful of him about that. Like, oh, like I want to, take the dog for a walk, but I have to get, and so I felt really resentful. And so I think it just wasn't a good, healthy place for me to be in. Yeah. Because I was unhappy, not feeling fulfilled with what I was doing with my day, but I was also becoming really resentful of my husband, and then other friends that I had too, of like that kind of were maybe didn't have that typical like 9-to-5 type of job. I was really resentful of them. And so I was like, okay, this is not a way that I need to live. Like, like I could totally like, like Jesse, for example, like had a normal job he's like, I know I want to do this, and like left and started doing it. I was like, I don't know what I would do, like I don't have like I want to do this instead. And so, yeah, I just kind of feel like I was in that place where I was just like kind of spiraling and, almost getting really kind of stuck and unhappy and unfulfilled with what I was doing. And I think really like us working together kind of really helped me like reframe, like what did it like just kind of reframe how I felt about work and what I was getting out of it, and really reframe my thoughts about it. Like I was like, well, I was like thinking about, like I have actually this really cool job at this cool place where if you would have asked me a long time ago, I would have said this is like my dream job.
What's your dream job, right? I remember you saying,
and so it really kind of like reminded me of that, and just to be kind of reframe that, how I feel about it, how I ended up there, and how it can help me work towards what I want to do. Like I, have this job and it can help me, afford to travel and do the things so that I can work on what I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I, feel fortunate about it and just feel really happy and lucky and fulfill. Like maybe the day-to-day work isn't fulfilling, but the purpose it has in my life is fulfilling.
What it gives you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just, reframing how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yes. Gratitude, right? For actually what you've got. Actually could be out of work, would love to work at that company, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure lots of people do. It's a great company to work for.
Yeah. I think we haven't really touched on this, but something else that I have kind of got from working with you is like the power of gratitude, of just being really, really thankful for the things that you do have in your life. Because I feel like you can't move any farther or accomplish anything more. I mean, I feel this way, as if you're not grateful for what you do have and what you have accomplished, and what you do have in your life, then I feel like you can't really move forward. Like it's so really practicing gratitude, which sounds funny, of just being like waking up in the morning and be like, even if it's like, geez, like I'm really thankful it's like sunny outside, or I'm really grateful I have this, like I can make this like special coffee at my house. I have this coffee, like just like silly things, or like I'm so grateful I could take my dog for a walk this morning, or to bigger things as well. But just like practicing that, because one, it changes your whole mindset for the day, and then just being really grateful for just the things you do have in your life.
Love that.
Yeah,
it's hard to be focused on negatives when you're being gratitude.
Yeah,
which for most people is half the battle.
Yeah, it really is.
And were you someone who was grateful before we started coaching, would you say? Or were you?
I would say, I think if you were to ask me that question before we started coaching, I would say yes. I'd be like, oh yeah, like I'm grateful for my life. But I think, because I think a lot of people would say, I don't think most people would be like, oh yeah, I'm ungrateful. But I think like
that's true, actually, isn't it? That is
so true. I think I would have, but I think it's so different. There's
levels to it.
Yeah, to like actually practice gratitude, to really like consciously think like, oh, I'm really grateful for this, that, and the other in my life. I don't think a lot of people maybe actually, I mean, I certainly never did. Like maybe in the US we have Thanksgiving, which is a holiday where you say, oh, I'm thankful for this. Like,
yes.
I think maybe that's, the only time I'd really consciously thought that. Been like, oh, like setting my intention of being like, yes, I'm going to set the intention that I'm really thankful for this in my life.
It's a good thing that you have that though, because we don't have that in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's never even a focal point here.
Yeah.
Which is sad. But then it's also kind of potentially bad that it's only the one day. I bet most people only think of it the one day, but that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
But it is. I find the most successful manifestors are very grateful.
Yeah.
And you'll repeatedly hear them say, "I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for doing that."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have a client who lost his leg a year ago. I mentioned him to you. And but he can be in gratitude, that he's incredibly grateful, considering he's been through an unbelievably tough time.
Yeah.
but he's so grateful that he's got his other leg.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could be like
That
that.
would be
I'm
very
super
tough. Yeah.
in admiration of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say? Because we met kind of initially for the initial kind of few months, we met once a week. And then it's been more kind of, once every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or ad hoc subsequently, right?
Yeah.
So we've been working together for a long time, but in effect, in truth, we've probably done 5 months worth of coaching.
Yeah.
What would you say the kind of the journey has been, of turning up every week? What would we typically be doing in those sessions, just in overview? And
Yeah.
how has that gone for you, do you think?
Yeah. I would say the initial, like when we were like meeting every week, I feel like it was really good. I feel like it's definitely, because I think some people might think like, oh, that's like too much, or like what, like even like, oh, I don't have anything to say, or which one thing is like so crazy. I think especially because like we would meet on Zoom, like different, countries. But sometimes I'd be like, oh, I don't really know what I'm going to talk to Adam about today. But like, you just have like a gift of even through a screen, like bringing out like things that like come up, and I'd be done and be like, whoa, I didn't even in a million years think I would like talk about that or like bring that up. Like you have a really good way of like, I don't know, bringing things out of people.
Yeah, thank you.
But I would say it's really good. Like, so you would give me like, we'd kind of talk about, things that were going on in my life, or like what maybe I was struggling with, or kind of like where I wanted to get, and just kind of like opening up in like more of like a, I don't know the right way to put it, like spiritual way to the universe. I don't know. But then kind of like giving me homework each week of like things that I could be doing or working on throughout the week, I think is really helpful, because it's stuff that like may seem easy, or like if you say it like, oh yeah, like that's easier. Oh, but really like having someone hold you accountable, because I think a lot of times people just like put it off, or, holding someone accountable. So yeah. So you at the end of the day, you can see a coach even once a week, but there's going to be loads of stuff happens between those sessions that you could be working on and working through and changing, right? Yeah.
Also, it's expensive to see a coach. Great investment, but it can be expensive. So the tools allow you to move forward probably 10 times faster, I would say, because you can then learn how to do so much of this stuff yourself.
Yeah.
And then obviously, we're not working all the time together now. So it's even more important that you can do the work yourself. How have you found that more recently when we're not seeing each other as often?
Yeah, I definitely feel like you definitely set me up well to be able to like work on things by myself too, which I could have never done previously.
Cool.
So yeah, like I think it's definitely like worth it, especially, and like just it's like investing in yourself and like your future, and just becoming like finding out like what's possible for your life, or like what, I think that's the best way I can put it, really.
That's a really good way to explain it, actually. What's possible for your life. Yeah. Because we all have unconscious places and limitations to what we think is possible for us, right? But none of it's really true.
Yeah. I think even if you don't think that you do, I feel like some people, if you haven't actually like gone into yourself and like seen it, then you don't, because I didn't really think I had like blocks up, or like you don't think that you do necessarily, just being able to go in and like do the work and see like what's coming up for you, or possibly what's holding you back, or like why you think a certain way, or things like that. Yeah, most of this stuff is completely unconscious. So when I talk about people having blocks between where they are now and where they want to get to, is most of the blocks they will have no awareness of at all. So how are you going to get there? It's like you can't. Definitely.
I mean, you can do it the old school way, which is how I used to work, right? So I had a burnout 2008, as you know. And prior to that, I was working really hard, pushing. And that's what I call the old paradigm. The old paradigm is you set your goal, you work really hard, you sweat, struggle, push, pull to get to the place you want to get to. Now, for me, that culminated in a burnout. Doesn't happen like that for everyone.
Yeah.
but they're still going to take their pound of flesh, right? It's still going to take it out of you to work that hard. Now, the new paradigm, which is how you're now working as well, is you set your intention, which is akin to a goal, right? Same thing. But you set the intention as if it's already done. So then it's like you stay focused on that as if your vision has already come to fruition.
Yeah.
And then you work out what the next block is. You work through that using the tools, the feel it process and whatever other tools are required. You change that, and then you check in with your intuition, and then you take the next step.
Yeah.
So you always know where you're headed. You always know what the next piece is. Right?
Yeah.
And then it will unfold. Once you clear the blocks away, it will just happen for you.
Yeah.
There's no pushing, pulling, struggling. I mean, you can still do that. We often, especially in London, a lot of us have that pattern and energy within us.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. I really agree. I feel like the thing that was the hardest for me to grasp is that you were like, you'll know what the next move is, or like it'll unfold, or like, set your intention and do what you think is right and do the work. It's not like, because I feel like I had always thought of the other way as well, where like, you're like, I have this goal, I want to get there. Like, what are all the, especially me being more of like a type A person, like I want to know exactly what I have to do to like get there. Like, I need to do this, then I need to, And so when you kind of just like let go and just like trust that like it's happening, and then you'll like, I don't know, opportunities kind of like present themselves when they're ready, and that you can take advantage of them, which I had never really thought of it that way. But when I went back and kind of looked at things, I'm like, oh, like truly when you just kind of like let go, then it's like it happens. Like you'll meet someone who introduces you to someone, and then it really does happen that way, which is crazy. What I never thought of life in that way, but it's happened so many times in my life where I'm like, oh, this, Yeah,
like divine synchronicity is what happened.
Yeah.
I had a great word recently, which I've put in my book, my forthcoming book. It's called organicity.
Yeah.
And it's that everything unfolds organically at exactly the perfect right time for you and for everyone else involved.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, when you really think about that, and the more you do this work, that really is true.
Really is
it
true,
does.
yeah.
However, if you're still in the old paradigm, you're pushing really hard because you're trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the tool, doing the internal work, comes in so handy, is because if you work through your impatience, your frustration, your need to be somewhere other than where you are right now, because you're always really in the perfect place, even if that place is an absolute pile of, right? That's perfect for you right now, because it's bringing up the emotions and the fears, doubts, insecurities, frustrations that are in you anyway that need to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Such a different way of thinking though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is what we need to get out to the world more.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think, I feel like in the world, people like, I don't know. I mean, especially like I was always like, okay, like you, like I'd never really, like life purpose, I had never really thought of like, I always had thought of life in the world as like, okay, you go to school, then you pick what job you want to do, and then like you do that job, and that's just kind of like what you do. Like it had never really occurred to me that like people like could do something and that it would like make them feel so fulfilled at life, and that's like possible, that they're like going to work, but that's like, it's not really work for them. It's like, it's like what they want to do with their life. And I think most people think of like, oh, well, that's what I do when I'm done with work, which like, I mean, that's still how my life is currently. I still have my job, but I feel like really, like so much more fulfilled in my life, that I have like things that I want to accomplish and goals outside of like, your regular day to day.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. So you touched on a few really interesting points then. So you feel like you've found your purpose, your passion.
Yeah.
And just for people watching, just explain a little bit about that. What is that for you, and where are you at with that right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I've always like loved to travel, and again, like find like good deals, or like how to get people, how to make it like really accessible to people. Like I was always the person that would get on the plane and be like, oh my gosh, like who are the people sitting in first class? Like they must be like really rich, which a lot of times people are, but like being able to like get like those really like VIP experiences, but being able to do it more affordably and accessibly for everyone. And it's something that, you know, I've just kind of taught myself over the years and learned. And it's something that my friends and family would always ask me about or ask me for help with. And so I feel like I have a lot to like share with people about doing that. And so I've been, you know, in the early stages of creating, you know, I've created videos on social media, and have got, you know, more followers, kind of building my following there. And yeah, I feel like one day that will kind of be what I do in life. I don't know exactly how that's going to unfold, but I see myself working in that sort of field where I can kind of help people in, you know, different ways. And I don't know how that will shape, because it could be just travel. It could be, you know, other areas of life, of, you know, like money saving tips or how to, you know, save for your future, things like that.
You love saving a dollar, right?
Yeah.
Which is great.
So how that works, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so for people watching, you were resisting doing those videos, or you'd done some, right? But it dropped off, and there had been periods where you hadn't done anything. And we had to kind of get you restarted with it. And how we did that was by facing the parts that were resistant to that, the unconscious parts, the parts that didn't feel good enough, the parts, for example, that went back to the cheerleading type, you know, some of the stuff that went on there, which had impacted her life, but you had no conscious awareness that it had left that mark, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
So everyone's carrying this stuff around, isn't it? Mad. Like now that you know what's behind the curtain, it's kind of crazy how everyone else is living. Right?
Yeah, very true. Because I feel like there were parts of myself where I was like, well, why would anyone want to listen to me? Or there's so many other people online doing this type of thing. Like why, like, you know, why would someone want to listen to me do it, or they're already doing it for someone else? But I think, I don't know, one way that you kind of phrased it, which was really good, was it was kind of in two ways of like, one, like you should be thankful for the other people because they're showing you how to do it. And it's always going to be different because you're putting your own spin on it, like you're doing it. And then two, like, I think you said something about like yoga and pizza, like that was not very prevalent in like London, but you're like, and so the first people that, you know, put in a yoga studio or pizza, like people thought it was like crazy or weird, but like then it's good now when someone does it, it's like very popular, and it could get very popular because people are like used to it. And
everyone knows about it. So true.
So yeah, we kind of worked through like those blocks I was having about thinking, you know, why would people want to listen to me? Which I think internally that was also kind of coming from like the cheerleading of like, because I was always constantly told like, oh, you know, you're not good enough, or you're going to be the one that sits out this time, or, you know, so I kind of had that in myself of like, oh, well, I'm going to be the one that people don't listen to. But
you
just
took
kind of
on some
building,
level, took it on, right?
Yeah, I took it on, like that was kind of manifesting into this other thing I wanted to do, which was totally unrelated, but in a way, still holding on to kind of those beliefs I was holding on to myself that I didn't even realize.
So look, everyone has these beliefs, whether you realize, whether you're consciously aware of them or not, they're affecting your life in all sorts of possible ways. So why wouldn't you want to kind of try to unpack that? Get to the bottom of it, because then you can create the life that you want to. If there's a key message we want to get out there, it's that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love everyone to be aware of that. That would be a game changer.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if everyone knew that, like it's it's like I don't know, so like it's like something that you want everyone to know about. You know,
and once you know, there's no going back, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like in the Matrix. Take the red pill or the the red or the blue pill? Is it? Take the red pill, will wake you up to the truth of reality. Yeah, very interesting. Now, a few minutes ago, you also mentioned that you had become more comfortable in your paid, salaried, kind of regular job. Whereas when we started coaching, you were desperate to get out of it because you felt unhappy and unfulfilled. Now, this is something that's very common with people who are going on the life purpose journey. Okay. And people people are often too afraid about how they're going to fund their lives if they don't even know what their life purpose is.
Yeah.
But the assumption often is, but I won't have enough money to do it.
Yeah.
Or how am I going to pay myself? How am I going to live and support myself? But it often isn't even a factor when they actually get the life purpose. It could be something completely unrelated that they can do in their spare time.
Yeah.
For you, obviously, you said you're not sure how it's going to unfold, but you've bought yourself because you got to a place where you're comfortable at work.
Yeah.
You're not in a rush to leave straight away, which is great. So you can develop, as you are, your project on a more kind of ad hoc basis. You're doing many more videos now than you ever have before, right? Which is fantastic. The quality in how you show up in them, I would say, has really gone up massively as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it really has. So you're stepping into it. And who knows when the next kind of point at which you'll step up is going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe it will just organically unfold in a very natural way. Or maybe at some point you'll decide, actually, I'm going to put some money into this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, I don't know, hire a videographer and we're going to make 20 videos in a day, whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
But intuitively, because that's the other piece we haven't really spoken about, you check in with your intuition now, right? We've developed that a little bit through meditation and by clearing away some of the issues, your intuition starts to flourish, right? So talk to me a little bit about intuition. Like how is it developed for you? How do you tap into it now? What benefit does it give you? Because I think obviously a lot of people know nothing about this.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's just like literally like kind of just really trusting like yourself and that, I don't know, that the universe will guide you and let you know, give you kind of like a kick when they're like, okay, this is something that you should be doing. Because I think when we started working together, like I had no idea like that I wanted to make videos or teach people about travel, like no idea. But I think even when we did and I was like, I think I really enjoy this. I think maybe this could be, but I was like, I don't even know how to like edit a video. Like I've never even been on, like, I was like, I don't even know how to do that. Like,
you're like, but how would I even do that?
And so I just feel like it's trusting that, you kind of get this weird like gut feeling or like it's time to do this or like you could move forward to do this. Like even like my current job, I had to go back and get some more schooling to do this. And the current job I do is a job that nothing I studied in college. It's something I'd always said I wanted to do. Like always, I would tell people like, hey, if I could go back to school, I want to do this. But then it was like when I actually did go back to school, like that was like such a huge. And to me, like school, I mean, I was always very good at school, but college, I kind of struggled. So the thought of having to go, it seemed something very unattainable to me. But I just kind of felt this like intuition, like, like this is, and also I didn't know, like I met someone that reconnected with someone at a party and I was kind of talking to them about it. And it was like, you just have to trust those little things that happen, those little kicks that you get and just trust that it's, this is like your next step. And I think that's really naturally kind of flowed with then like working on like my life purpose or things that I want to do with like how I've developed in that is like just getting these little kind of like, I don't know, like kick, I know saying kick, but just these little feelings of like, hey, this is like a push and like, to not ignore them or because a lot of times it feels really uncomfortable, but just being okay and like
as you are.
And just like trust that it's the next right step. But you don't necessarily have like a playbook laid out, but you just kind of trust that.
Yeah, you've kind of let go a little bit.
Move.
You know it's going to work out. You have no idea how.
Yeah.
That's so hard for so many people.
Yeah, very true.
One of the things I love about intuition is I check in with my intuition. Do I need to do anything today?
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, well, get on with it. Like, let's get going.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, the intuition is like, no, nothing to do. So I'm like, okay. But so that allows me to relax. You know, considering I had a burnout, it's probably that's one of the things I'm probably here to learn is how to just chill out a little bit, right? Not be switched on all the time. So okay, great. So the intuition's really helped, right? Has that helped you relax as well?
Yeah, just like to relax and just check in because especially I'm the type of person too where, I always like, I'm like, I think we've talked about this too. I'd always have this like super long to-do list of just like even the smallest things like, oh, like, did you take a shower today? Like, and I just had a really hard time like relaxing or just like trusting. And so like just being, just checking in and just really like being mindful and being like, okay, like what is my next step? It's not my next step because I feel like I have to have a step and I wrote it down, but like truly, like what do I need? Is there something I need to do today or not?
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful, just being really intentional about that.
I'd forgotten about you in the to-do list.
Yeah.
My goodness, we had to work on that, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because then you were able to put the to-do list down, become okay with not having a list to do.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of then you started to get the intuition to, right, this is the next step. This is the guidance.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect. And the to-do list kind of gave you a bit of security, I think. Was that right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was just more like, because I felt like if I wasn't checking things off or being constantly busy, then I was like failing in a way, which I don't know. But
so many people feel that way.
Yeah.
Got to be busy, right? In busyness, in business.
Yeah. And I think even like, because it's not like, I mean, if you don't have the to-do list, I feel like it's not like you're just like sitting around like watching TV all day. It's just trusting yourself that you know what you need to accomplish and just really putting trust in yourself.
Yeah.
So,
I get that. I often find when the intuition is there's nothing you need to do, for me, it often means do your usual stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just sit there
true.
eating potato chips. I can do that with the best of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, just do the regular. There's nothing extra you need to do. So just relax.
Yeah.
And then when you do get the little kind of, as you say, the kicks, then it's like, okay, I've got to get this done now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always mean for me anyway that I can do that thing. It will often be that next step, next thing I'm guided to do is going to bring up resistance in me. I'll be like, it's too much. I can't go and do that video.
Yeah.
Like you and I both have been on a journey with making videos, right? I struggled to make videos. Now I'm doing them like almost every day.
Yeah.
But I had to work through so much stuff to get to a place where, and then now it just naturally flows. I said to you earlier, I can't stop making videos now.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious considering where I was.
Yeah.
I probably used to make one video every 3 months and it used to really take it out of me.
Yeah.
I found it so hard.
Yeah. I always feel like when you follow your intuition, it's always, it's not going to be easy. It's working through, like that next step is always going to take you out of your comfort zone. And I feel like that's where most people struggle because, they're like, oh, well, I just want to ignore this because that's scary.
It's scary.
But
that's where the
really
internal work is, right? That's
yeah.
where the feel it process helps you work through those things and take the next step. Now, look, it might take you 2 days, it might take you a week even before you're able to do it. But if you can't do it, you've just got to keep chipping away, keep working through the emotions. As the Buddhists say, lean into it.
Yeah.
Feel the fear. It's okay to be afraid, but don't just put it in the corner and forget about it and not do it.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for you.
Yeah. I feel like you said something to me about like schedule the time to do it. And if you can't do it, then at least be like feeling into it. Why can't you do it? Like what's blocking you from being able to take the next step?
People love or hate that exercise. I call it the sit at the desk exercise.
Yeah.
Remember? So block out 2 hours. You're going to work on your next video. If you're not doing it, sit there and feel the fear. Journal about why you're not doing it. What's the reason? What are you worried might happen? Clear it until you can. And if you can't after 2 hours, that's fine. Just book in another 2 hours tomorrow.
Yeah.
It really works.
Yeah, it does. And like you kind of have to be, for myself, I would get really down on myself of like, oh, well, I didn't film this video today or I didn't do this. But instead of getting, because that doesn't help anyone if you're just constantly being negative to yourself, of just being like, okay, but that's fine. Like, as long as you weren't like, well, I'm just going to watch 2 more hours of TV and forget about it. Even if you do that, then you still have to be like, okay, well, what made me feel like that was what I needed to do? But to really just be like, okay, because like you said, like sometimes it's not something you can just go do tomorrow. Like it might take you a week. It might take you, time to figure that out. But as long as you're like okay with yourself and like okay with like the timeline and being okay with that, then
Yeah, totally get that. Okay, and you said earlier you feel hopeful about the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know it's going to work out, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do you know that?
I feel it. I look at like things I've accomplished in the past, or like I said, like how I feel like the things I have in my life today, like I was like, it all worked out. Like, I guess like when I was in college and I was really struggling to like graduate because I had, switched majors a lot and I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's like no way I'm ever going to like get a job. And like, I'm not going to be able to support myself. Like, how is this ever going to work out? And like, then the job I have today is like, if you would have told me when I was in college that I do this job, I'd been like, what? Like, no, like you're lying. So it works out. Like, or like, in my 20s when I was like trying to date and I was like, I'm never going to find, like the love of my life, or no one's ever going to want to like be with me, it all works out. You just kind of have to like trust like things come to you at the right timing. Like if you're pushing so hard and you're like trying to like, fit a square peg into a round hole or something, you're like trying at it so hard. It's like when you kind of like let go and really do the work on yourself and then it, things will happen,
Things will happen. Yeah. I always find if you need it too much, if you're so desperate to get it, that in itself creates a block.
Yeah.
It's like, because at the end of the day, you're sending out a frequency. You're basically saying the lack. You're saying you don't have it because you desperately need it so much. And why do you need it? Because deep down you probably feel scared or you don't feel good enough or whatever it is. I mean, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's got some of this going on for sure.
Definitely.
Okay. Great. So what would you say to people who are new to hearing about any of this perhaps, or perhaps they're thinking about coaching or doing some work on themselves? What would you say to those people? What could they expect? What would be your message of encouragement, if that's what it would be?
I would just say to have an open mind and just really don't be like, just don't be scared to like say how you really feel or what you feel like you really want out of life. Because I think a lot of times, me personally, I really kind of pushed down things that I really wanted because I was too nervous about what people would think, or, oh, this can't happen to me. Or so just be very, I don't know, like have an open mind and be mindful and just really let things come up. And like I just think if someone isn't hopeful about where they are, they feel like, they feel stuck, or like to just get like, have an open mind and give it a try, because like really just putting the work in on yourself, like I think is the best investment you can do in your entire life, because it can change your life, honestly. You're a case study in point, right? Yeah,
for sure. I think that's great advice. So just take this first step. And it can do greater things than you can imagine right now.
Yeah, because it might be like scary or something, but it's like everything, I feel like everything that's worth it in life is pulling you out of your comfort zone, because it's making you grow as a person. And so, taking the next step, if you feel like that's what you need to do, and it would, it'll pay dividends. Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit, about being outside of your comfort zone, because a lot of the journey is either on the edge of or outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
How has that changed? Did you ever live outside your comfort zone previously before we started doing this work? And where do you feel you are with it now? And how do you find that?
I feel like currently I'm better at, like being outside of my comfort zone or going after things that I want, even though I might be scared. Before I was always I think that's some of the work that we had done on kind of my internal work of just feeling like, not having super high self-esteem or not feeling like worthy. A lot of times I would stay kind of like hold myself back.
Okay.
Just because, I was scared, or like I hadn't done the work on myself. And so I wouldn't say I like never went out of my comfort zone, because there's certain things obviously that really but like in a safe, I would think I would go out of my comfort zone, but in a safe way where I knew it was going to be okay no matter what. Where I feel like now I take myself out of my comfort zone, which I still know it's going to be okay, but like I really don't. Like I would say if someone like doing collegiate cheerleading, like a lot of people would say, hey, that's like way out of your comfort zone to be, down dancing in a stadium in front of like tens of thousands of people. But for me, I was like, it's like fine. Like it's safe, because it's like, I don't know. It just was like, it's like nothing bad is going to happen to me. Like if I mess up, like whatever. People probably won't even see because there's a bunch of people out there who knows that they're actually watching me. Like, but I don't know. I feel like for me, like posting a video of myself talking on social media, like it's not really safe because there's people that will comment mean stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I think now I just take more risks where I just know I'm going to be okay, but you really don't. It's more risky, I guess.
Yeah.
Like calculated risks. I don't know the right way of saying
yeah,
that.
no,
but
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is it. Yeah, because you are doing it. You're putting yourself out there all the time now.
Yeah.
On the edge of your comfort zone, if not outside regularly.
Yeah.
I think this is a big part of the journey. It's you have to build a foundation that's strong enough, stable enough. You feel safe enough, secure. You feel good enough in yourself that if someone does leave a horrible comment, which I've had regularly, it's like, so what? You know? One of my friends, I was doing a joint video with a friend of mine, and we had someone immediately said, we were talking about how to have a great day. And the first comment that ever got left for us, this basically was this guy saying, I was having a great day till I saw your two ugly mugs appear on my timeline.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And I was like, it was so extreme given the context that I was just like, well, it kind of made me laugh. My friend, not that he took it personally, but he was like, no, that's not on. And he took it upon himself to message that person and everyone else who left a snidey comment. He messaged them, and do you know what? That person came back. Credit to them, because they didn't have to. They came back and said, I'm really sick, because my friend said, actually, didn't feel really good to me. It made me feel a bit, sad, and made me feel not good about myself, which it did. And the person came back and said, do you know what? I'm really sorry. I was just having a really bad day.
Yeah.
And then you think, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a video yesterday about a word called sonder. Don't know if you've heard of it. I hadn't really heard of it. And it basically means just to understand, as we know anyway, but it's to understand that everyone has their own stuff going on. Everyone had their own upbringing, their own traumas, their own situations, because maybe something's happening with illness in the family, maybe they've just been dumped or whatever it is, and to just look upon people in a slightly softer lens, rather than jumping down their throats every time, which I think I find that really powerful. Yeah,
I do too. And I think
it's not always easy.
No, not always easy. And I think like doing internal work on yourself, it makes you more comfortable with yourself to be able to, sonder, think about how other people are feeling. Because I think if you haven't necessarily done the work on yourself, you're holding yourself back because you maybe don't have that, you haven't gotten to that place in your life, or maybe you can be like, oh, okay, maybe they're just having, you can't take it on. It would just be.
Yeah, because it's pushing on your buttons, right? And maybe your inner child is really angry and upset and sad, and their inner child is playing up with you. It's like, wow, the explosion's going to happen here. Yeah, fascinating. And obviously that plays perfectly into playing and living outside your comfort zone. It's like, if you're feeling strong enough, you've done the work, then you're going to be able to do that much more easily, which broadens your horizons, which allows you to go to the next level, do a bigger video, go on a big podcast, right? Whatever it is. Fascinating. Okay, thank you. Great. Really great answer. So what would you say specifically about working with me for people who are thinking about that? How would you summarize your experience? I'll pretend I'm not here, say whatever you like. That would be really helpful, I think, for people thinking about it.
I would say, working with you specifically, I feel like you have a really good way of making people feel comfortable. I feel like I've said things to you, I brought up things to you that I'd never told anyone. And so you have a good way of, even if it's through a screen, through Zoom, not in person, which I don't know, some people may feel more comfortable that way. I don't know. But you definitely have a really, really good gift of getting people to feel comfortable and kind of coming out of their own and share things.
Thank you.
And I think, you have a really good way of making people feel that and I think the way that you talk about manifestation or teach things is in a way that's very easy to understand. And people could like in the homeworks and things like that, people can apply it to their lives pretty easily.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, I would say, yeah, it's very like, it's not, because I think some people will be like, oh, whoa, how do I even understand that or whatever. I think you put it in a really like practical kind of easy way with like steps that people can take in their life that can really help. So
Nice.
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And just looking at a sort of macro, bigger picture, what do you think would happen if everyone knew about and started to do this type of work?
Yeah. I mean, I think the world would be a happier place for sure. Just because I feel like if people are working on things that like, because I feel like when people go like try and find like their life purpose or whatever, I feel like a lot of people, it would, you'd want to do something to like help people or like in a way it's sort of helping people or like and making yourself like fulfilling
helping
yourself,
you
but also
them,
helping
right?
Others.
Yeah.
And so I think that the world would just be like, I think when you think about something different, like for an example, go back to the lottery things. I always, before I started doing this work, I had said, oh, I want to win the lottery because then I can just have all this money and just like kick back and eat potato chips and watch TV all day.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've really reframed that of now like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be so cool if then I had these funds where I could, invest in myself or invest in my friends or family so that they can do work that they've always wanted to do that can make them feel fulfilled and like help others.
Wow.
And so I think, I think the world would be happier, but I think people would just feel more like confident in themselves and more just like fulfilled with their, daily life instead of feeling like, oh, like I'm stuck or is there more out there? Like
is there more out there? Got to keep on the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
I love that. You've touched on something really important there, like that shift from it being all about ourselves to being wanting to help others, the people around us initially, and then the rest of the world is huge. And it does get bigger. So your life purpose at the moment is doing the videos in exactly the way you're doing them.
Yeah.
But once you get really confident and happy in doing that, the next iteration, we talked about this, right? The next iteration, which will be a bigger thing, will come in. And maybe it's just to reach maybe 1 million people, right? It could be the next goal. Then it could be actually let's inspire people how to live, on a budget. Could be that, right? And you're helping then millions of people to feed their families. I mean, some amazing things. Who knows what direction it'll go? But that's the beauty of life purpose. And that's partly why it's so exciting. Is you don't know until you know. But it does usually grow incrementally in the same sort of direction. But sometimes it takes a little curve. It's quite fun like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mackenzie, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
I'm going to call it, thank you. I am going to call in now Jesse, your husband.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have a few words from him on what he has experienced, what he's seen in you as you've been on this journey. I think that could be really insightful.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And then, and we'll round up after that.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, so we are here joined by Jesse, Mackenzie's husband. And we've never done this before, but we're going to get a third-party perspective on the journey that Mackenzie's been through. Now, obviously, you might not know all the ins and outs. However, you will have seen some changes, seen some things go on. I'm intrigued, actually, to see what your perspective has been. So Mackenzie and I, as you know, have been coaching for about 2 years. What has gone on? What have you seen happening with her? How has she changed? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of change, and it didn't happen overnight, obviously. But I definitely noticed a change in just like her positivity, just outlook on, the world basically, and it's been quite refreshing to see. I guess I'm a positive person, at least I feel that I am myself, and so it's nice to see her kind of take it up a notch, right? Also, another thing that I noticed was Mackenzie's kind of struggled with some anxiety, and I feel like she's got that really under check now. And she's done a lot of work, and I don't know, probably just a fraction of the work that she's done, because I know she's done it kind of, behind on her own and behind with you and behind closed doors. So that's also been very noticeable. And like I said, it didn't happen overnight, but I mean, over the span of 2 years, it's been quite a big change. Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating. Now, you've seen her also start to embrace her passion of making these videos.
Yeah.
How do you think that, do you think she would have done that before she started doing the coaching? Well, I know she'd done some videos, but she's taken it to a really another level now, would you say?
Yeah, I don't, honestly, I mean, I can't say for certain, but I will say that this gave her, I would say, the additional courage to take that leap of the unknown. And I don't think she would have done that without like the coaching and training, and to really follow like her passion. And, despite what people say or, the critics, right? I think it's given her the courage to, just to follow her dream, right? It's something that really drives you, right? So.
Yeah, nice. Now, given where she was 2 years ago, kind of like considering leaving working, I remember you and I having an initial conversation, she's thinking of leaving work. She doesn't know what she wants to do. Can you have a chat with her? Like, she's come on quite a way since then, hasn't she? To now be at peace with work while she has to do that.
Yeah, I think the change in that's been very, very noticeable. She had, a few years ago, very unhappy in the work life, right? And just like not feeling like she's really, I don't know if it was accomplishing her dream or if it's just like she doesn't feel like what she's doing at her job is really very useful. And I know that was really wearing on her. And I just, she's still working and she seems a lot happier now, but she's also in, on her downtime from work, she's working on her true passion.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Great insights. Interesting to get that perspective. Huh?
Yeah. It's definitely interesting to get.
All right. Thank you very much, Mackenzie. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Lovely to see you in London.
Yeah, it's been great.
I'm very grateful for you and super grateful that you've been here today.
Yeah, and same. Thank you for having me.
I think that is a wrap. It's been some great information. So I'm really, really happy and grateful that you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
My pleasure.